And welcome to the WXCO Morning Report, part of Mornings with Hank Wright on 98.9 WXCO, online at WXCO.FM, mobile devices, and Alexa by searching WXCO, and on the Civic Media app. I am Chad Holmes, joined by Ian Welsh. Ian, good morning.
Good morning, Chad.
We will have more with you coming up in just a little bit, but as we do every other week, it's always a great opportunity to talk about what's going on at the Grand Theater with the executive director of the Grand and the Performing Arts Foundation, Mr. Sean Wright. Sean, good to see you.
Yeah, good morning. Glad to be here.
I tell you, it feels like theater weather.
Yes, it does.
This time of year, it's wonderful to be able to go indoors when the weather's not feeling good.
Yes.
And I imagine that sometimes, as much as you like getting out, because I see you out and running and doing your marathons and doing everything outdoors, I think there's part of you that says, hey, let's not get perfect weather. This ain't San Diego, is it?
No. We don't need sunny and 70 all winter long, as much as we would like it, because that does allow us to have that perfect theater weather.
I gotta ask you though. I mean, we're starting the World Series.
Yes.
The Brewers did not beat the Dodgers, but again, wonderful season. And that's not one of those situations where you feel like, oh, why did this happen to us? No, I mean, we got very fortunate here this year. But your thoughts on the Dodgers and the Blue Jays?
It's impossible to pick against the Dodgers at this point, because the thing that everybody thought was their shortcoming, their pitching, has suddenly become unstoppable. Snell and Yamamoto and Glasnow pitched well, and then you get to Game 4 and you get that Ohtani guy you can throw in there. And
by the way, real fast, isn't it incredible to see a team that can actually roll out 4 starters?
It really is.
You don't have to have a bullpen game.
You don't have to have a bullpen game. It's very strange.
Brewers are having multiple bullpen games. I mean, it just showed how short they were on the starting pitcher.
They were.
And Ohtani's Game 4. You follow baseball for a long time. I mean, when you have conversations and you see all sorts of different stories on, is that the greatest performance in Major League Baseball history? An individual, that is a performance.
That is a performance. I mean, I liked the line that the great Jason Stark had, where he was talking about Reggie Jackson's 3 home run game, or the Joe Carter home run, or the Mazeroski home run. He's like, all great home runs, but none of those guys pitched.
No.
He's like, or Don Larson's perfect game, or Gibson's 18 strikeouts, really great pitching performances. None of those guys hit 3 home runs. It's really incredible.
So you're picking the Dodgers.
I am, but I would love to see the Blue Jays win. It's been great to see that franchise.
And we'll get to the theater stuff real fast, but I have to say I felt a little for the Seattle fans. It's been 50 years here, and they haven't had that chance yet.
No, that's that was such an odd series with the visiting teams winning all the games, and I thought when Rodriguez hit that that home run put the Mariners ahead, I was like, that's that's going to be their ticket. On the flip side, it's been a long time for the Blue Jays as well, and at least the one thing there is the Dodgers will have to go on the road again, and
it's a real trip,
as opposed to they would have home field against the Mariners.
All right, let's talk about what's going on at the Grand. And I know this week you had yourself a fantastic show. Who doesn't love to sing along with ABBA, right?
Oh, absolutely. That Mania is just such a fantastic show, and we're fortunate that's a producer that we've got a long-standing relationship with, and so even as they sell a block of those dates to the big national promoters, and good for them, they still find a spot for us each year, and we're always happy to work with them.
And everything go well?
Yeah, really, really fun night, and just super talented musicians. And as you said, if you can't enjoy the music of ABBA, like what are you doing?
You get into it automatically. It's just amazing how something ABBA, it's sort of like cotton candy. You just 100%. It tastes so good when you get it.
And, do you walk away going, wow, that's the greatest music I've ever heard? No, but you walk away going, it was fun. Every song,
right?
And I think that's always the thing with that show. And sort of similar with Tusk last week with Fleetwood, the Fleetwood Mac tribute, you just forget the depth of the catalog, right. and both of those shows can do 2-hour shows, and you walk out knowing every song. Well, there's something to be said for that.
That is why, and again, I'll admit it, when I'm not listening to my radio station, I'll be turning on the stuff that when I grew up. I mean, it's just natural, and it just brings back your life story almost to yourself as you experience the show sitting at the Grand.
And the thing that I really enjoyed about both of those shows is, definitely, the demographic that grew up with those, with that music. But then you also see the younger audiences. I mean, there are definitely folks, there were definitely some youngsters in the crowd, both last night or a couple nights ago, as well as at Tusk last week, because they've been exposed to the music now, and that's great to see, because that music continues to impact people.
Again, we're talking to Sean Wright, the executive director of the Grand Theater here on 98.9 WXCO. Well, let's look forward, because this is the final time we'll talk in the month of October.
Yes.
We're getting to November, and we touched on it last time around as well, as we get into the late fall, then into the winter and the holiday season, and things really start to heat up at the Grand, don't they?
Yeah, they really do. As we get into the next couple of weeks, our first arts and education show, Cirque Mechanics. So it'd be great to have all the students back downtown and the buses to see a really cool show from Cirque Mechanics. And, as we get into the month of November, of course, we've got a couple of free community engagement events. We've got, of course, 11/11 coming up, the 80s prom themed 11/11, still with some tickets left. And then, some really, really cool shows that I'm looking forward to, the 615 Collective, which are, you don't know them, but you know their music, because these are all songwriters who have written songs for some of the biggest country artists working today, now out on their own as musicians as well, playing the songs they've written, as well as some original stuff. And, so that's going to be a great show. Molly Tuttle, the multiple Grammy award-winning bluegrass artist, headliner at Summerfest and Blue Ox. We've got her, comedian Dusty Slay, who just is absolutely killing it, from the Nate Bargatze podcast and tree of, the Nate Bargatze comedy tree. Coaches have trees. I guess comedians have trees now as well. So really, and then obviously as we get deeper into November, Tina, the Tina Turner musical, which is just going to be fantastic. And then, full slate of holiday programming, Cirque Musica. Holiday, we sold out one show. We've added a second show, added a matinee, and so really, the month of November is a very busy one, as is as has been October.
When you list these shows that are coming up, one thing that kind of jumps out to me is the word energy. It feels like, boy, you got a lot of energetic shows coming, that if you want to get in there and just feel the power of live theater in a way that really does hits you hard. Absolutely. It sounds like a lot of these shows are exactly
absolutely that. And the funny thing was, I probably didn't even mention Mark Martell's One Vision of Queen, which is probably the most energetic of all those shows, with the incredible Mark Martell. But no, it is a really great slate of upcoming shows, because we said, you've got Broadway, you've got comedy, you've got country, you've got holiday, you've got classic rock, and so really it's it's one of those months that as you said, it's theater weather, so it's time to come enjoy things at the Grand, get out of what we're gonna have for the next 6-7 months.
I gotta ask Ian real fast. You went to 2 shows at the Grand recently, right?
Yep.
What's the report card? Is it still as much fun going to the Grand as to let the audience members know that if you're not going, what are you missing out on?
Honestly, it was so much fun. I mean, first my family and I saw the Addams Family on Tuesday, a super hilarious show, amazing effects, just a great night out at the theater, and the weather was actually very appropriate, because it was very cold and wet. So very appropriate for that show.
Were you going to Illuminate as well?
Yep. On Saturday we went to the Illuminate show, and man, just as awesome as the first time we saw it last year. Just an incredible show. Just, I honestly don't know how they do it. It's just I'm very impressive.
And Sean, I know that, you talk to your patrons all the time. You hear for what works, and the rare occasions it doesn't work. That's really important to you, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, there's nothing better than, when we have a week of shows like, we had last week with Adams and Tusk and Illuminate, and you hear the reaction from patrons, you see the reactions on social media, and and you just see the joy. And that was the thing last week with those shows. Truly were. They were just, those 4 nights of just fun and just great experiences, together in our theater.
It's a very exciting time, always as you get into November and December. I think it's probably as it's as busy as maybe you get, but it's also as exciting as you get, because I mean, along with everything else, along with life, I mean,
Exactly.
it's just, I mean, it feels like hand in glove, the grand and these shows and the whole holiday season. Is, again, it's hard to believe it. We're a month from Thanksgiving and 2 months from Christmas.
Really is. But no, you're absolutely right. That is, it's, in this business, it's interesting. It used to be holiday programming you never did before December 1st. And then it crept to, well, you never do it until Thanksgiving. And now, it's interesting. You get pitched holiday shows. I mean, I think the day after Halloween in some of these cases, we're practically, the stores putting apart, Christmas decorations in August. But, for us, it's always sort of that back half of November, and you start that transition and knowing that, you're going to get to the middle of November and there's not going to be a break until, this year, our last show before the holidays on December 20th. But between then, it is the best time, because it's a mix of fabulous touring shows that are coming back, and local traditions, be it Nutcracker, Altenburg, and those things. And yeah, you can't help but get into the holiday spirit, and and the Grand's a great place all times of year, but especially during the holiday season.
Absolutely. I don't know if there's anything else you want to touch on. We'll obviously be talking again about the Second Century campaign. Anything else? Any newsworthy items we should discuss before you wrap up things up here?
Yeah, it is a really exciting time for the Second Century project. We're actually just finalizing our new seating layout, which is, there's going to be a few adjustments, but the nice thing is we're going to be able to, the majority of the seating layout's going to look the way you know and love, just with some little nips and tucks, and especially in the lower balcony seats, as those are some seats that are those seats are really, really tight right now, and so we're going to make some improvements there. And so it's been a fun and interesting and very thorough process. You don't realize how much goes into it until I was actually preparing a report for a meeting and looked at it and went, we literally went through with the architects and the seating manufacturers 8 different drafts of layouts. Like, I think we had one that was actually going to increase our capacity. I'm not sure how. And I think that was the one end of the spectrum. The other end of the spectrum dropped our capacity to 1,039, which we can't do that either. Right. So, I joke that, that layout was too big. That layout was too small.
The old Goldilocks system.
Exactly. But we found one, and it's just right. And so
fantastic.
that's really exciting to sort of have that milestone complete. And it's just another thing that makes us realize that next May is good. You talk about Thanksgiving is almost here. In our world, it feels like May 10th is going to be here before we know it.
And in this situation, when you talk about these decisions, vital decisions, because these decisions are going to influence what the Grand Theater is for the next number of decades.
Yes, absolutely. It's amazing when you get into things. There are things that are way out of our pay grade. That's why we have architects and why we have amazing general contractor in Myron. But there are things that we have input on, like seating numbers.
Yeah.
It's amazing. You can ask 20 people how they think the seats should be numbered in the Grand, or really any theater in the Grand, and you're going to get at least 18 different ways. You might get like 2 people who agree with each other, but otherwise you're going to get, I literally had somebody at one of our volunteers a couple of nights ago, as we were, sort of offering the opportunity for their feedback. And I had said, we just want your ideas. Nothing's off the table. And one of the volunteers said, I think we should start row A in the back and go forward. Row A shouldn't be at the stage. And I looked at her and I said, I should have clarified. Almost everything is off the table, but no, row A's. I hear what you're saying, but row A starts at the stage, and also there will be no row I. That theaters don't have row I's because it confuses people. So
Oh.
let's clarify that. But it
That
just
is,
goes
you,
to
I
show.
mean, it's crazy. I mean, you probably you think you've seen it all, but you haven't seen it all. You think I've heard every question. You have never heard every question.
No, and to that individual's point, I was like, I mean, that is fair. If you're not used to, it's like we're not used to doing the alphabet backwards. Like that's a good point. Also, theaters start with row A.
That's the way it is.
It's
And
just
it's
the
like-
way it is.
and we'll wait for somebody else to take that jump.
That's right. Somebody else could do that. We're not going to be the first.
And again, for anybody that wants to get the ticket information, take a complete look at the schedule that is coming up, find out information about the Second Century campaign. It's all right there online.
It's all right there online. Everything is at Grand Theater. That's er.org. And if you want to look just specifically at the Second Century campaign, see all the great Second Century Sundays that Sadie Fisher has put together, grand100.org has all the complete campaign information, including how you can become a part of it.
That is so exciting. It really is. It's an exciting time both on the stage and off the stage. I mean, it is really going to be an incredible number of months, isn't it?
That it is.
Sean Wright, the executive director of the Grand Theater. Sean, always great to see you.
Yeah, my pleasure.
We're going to take a quick break and then come back. More of Mornings with Pat Kreitlow on the way. We'll be hearing in a few minutes from Ian Welsh, and we'll be back with another WXCO Morning Report in just a few as well. It is the WXCO Morning Report, part of Mornings with Pat Kreitlow on 98.9 WXCO.
And we're clear.
Thank you.
You're welcome.